A new CDC report shows a continuing rise in autism cases here in the U.S., and this comes as the Department of Health and Human Services is launching a massive testing and research effort with a goal to identify what has caused what they're calling an autism epidemic.
Hello special family, welcome back to another fair use reaction video. Let's see what the CDC has to say about autism this week. Let's take a look at the video.
A new CDC report shows a continuing rise in autism cases here in the U.S., and this comes as the Department of Health and Human Services is launching a massive testing and research effort with a goal to identify what has caused what they're calling an autism epidemic. But one reason why there's a rise, the report says health systems have gotten better at identifying and diagnosing autism. The newest data shows that autism rates among 8-year-olds climbed from about 1 case in every 150 children in the year 2000 to 1 in 31 children in 2022. The prevalence of autism was higher among boys than girls and higher among Black and brown children compared with white children. The report also found rates can really vary depending on location. For example, in 2022, the prevalence of autism ranged from Texas, with having the lowest rate at 9.7 cases for every 1,000 children, to California with the highest at about 53 cases per 1,000. But again, one reason for this difference could possibly be that California has regional centers throughout the state and initiatives to do more testing for the disorder.
I took my son to the Autism Center here in Georgia, and they turned around and told me, if only you could go to a state that has better health. We don't have anything here. I said, what is a state that would have better health? And the 2 states, 3 actually states that were called or named, California was on the top, Colorado, New York, New Jersey. Georgia is literally crumbles. But real help is more in California. That's what was told to me. If you have any information on what the best states are for help with autism, you let me know. But they're saying that the CDC says the rise is not because that it's an epidemic or whatever. It's because testing has become more efficient. There's better ways of testing for autism. That's why there's been a rise. And since the umbrella is so large, here we are. So let's go to the comment section and see what the commenters had to say about this report. First commenter says, couldn't possibly be because the new generation of parents actually pay attention to their children rather than ignoring it. I like this comment. Reason why, back in the day, it was a taboo to have your child have any sort of developmental delay. That means there's something wrong with your family, there's something wrong in your bloodline, and we don't want it out here. And if you have it, you better keep it hidden. Them little Uncle Andrew and Uncle Robert that was living down in the basement with a disability, all this while, they had autism. You just thought it was normal from that Uncle Andrew and Uncle Robert were hidden down in the basement because he could not be seen by the rest of the world because he was different. What different meant, you didn't know. But now that we're older, more informed, and more aware, and we watch our kids more closely and we pay attention, and this generation of parents does not play, we go make sure our kids are okay, the rate went up. That's basically, in a nutshell, what I'm understanding from doing all these videos that's going on. But let's go to the next comment. Not an increase in autism, it is an increase in autism awareness. Right. Language is life-saving and important here. I agree. Next, why are people acting like this is a disease? Someone else said, because Republicans have zero grasp on science, medicine, psychology, or anything for that matter. Someone else responded, it's not but when you have a child that can't talk or struggle with behaviors and independence, it's not ideal. Someone says this. Next commenters, a rise in the diagnosis of autism. Someone responded, the daycare providers paint a different picture. When before they used to work with maybe 1 to 2 difficult cases of autistic child per entire center, now there's 1 to 2 per every classroom, which is true. Yes, you might say we have a better way of diagnosing it, but the schools have also seen an increase per classroom, and at first that number was for the entire school. Thinking about it, that is true, because Ramsey's teacher did say that. So what do we say about that? Someone else responded. So higher diagnosis rates do not explain what teachers are dealing with now. I'm talking about autistic children that have tendencies to hurt themselves and others around them. Making sense, people? Connecting the dots? Because I am. Someone else responded. Anecdotal evidence from people who aren't doctors or research scientists, you might as well ask a cat. Next, when being left-handed stopped being punished in schools by teachers, the left-handed population increased more than 15% in a couple of years. Okay, so this is a war divided. One half is saying this is because diagnosis has become more frequent and there's a better way to diagnose. The other hand is saying, yeah, that's nice and all, but that doesn't explain the increase of these disabled kids per classroom. Ugh. And then left-handed people comment, yeah, that is true. I wonder why these things happen. We'll ask somebody. Next, just like there was a rise in left-handedness when we didn't consider it a sign of evilness. Ooh-wee. God forbid parents are paying attention to their kids and getting them diagnosed, right? Next commenter. An epidemic is by definition the spread of disease. Autism is not spreading. The prevalence may be increasing, but it is not spreading and is not an epidemic. Tell that to the teachers in the classroom. Next, I think we have simply gotten better at acknowledging that there is a spectrum. It isn't just normal or other. Next commenter. It's always funny to me when there are rises in things that existed forever because they're finally being accepted, studied, and then people act like something fishy is going on. I don't think it's the fishiness. It's like even the teachers are aware that, and ABA centers, have you ever seen so many ABA centers sprung up? But even schools and teachers are aware that the kids with special need behaviors have gone up per classroom. So how do we address that? I'm not a know-it-all. I'm learning like everybody else. Next commenter. The reason being is because we see signs of autism and take it seriously. We don't just treat signs of autism as he's just throwing a tantrum or he wasn't shown how to behave. I like that. I was always autistic. We just now know better on what the full spectrum actually looks like. Next commenter. What's causing it to rise? I don't know. Maybe the recognition that people like my airplane obsessed uncle that reads flight manuals for fun and builds models 24/7 aren't just eccentric, lol. Your uncle is amazing, by the way. Next commenters. There are better means of diagnosing autism now. It's a spectrum. Many fall under different sides of it. So of course there's going to be more reported cases. I understand that reporting this feels like news, but at the end of the day, there's more awareness now. So people are more aware of what autism is and the spectrum it sits on. Next commenter, we're finding it because we're looking for it and we're aware. Remember, when Trump stupidly wanted to stop testing for COVID so the positive cases would stay low, same idea. Let me know in the comment section below what your take on this is. From what I'm understanding, there are two sides. One, the classroom with kids with severe autism have increased. Two, people are saying the spectrum went up because we have better ways of diagnosing kids these days, and parents pay attention, so they get their kids diagnosed to get them the right treatment, because early treatment is better help. Catch you in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.